let's be honest, this year gave all of us a few plot twists we didn't ask for, but somewhere in the mess, God was teaching us something. Today, we are unpacking those lessons together. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Vibes with Jojalicious. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I am Jojalicious, and I'm so glad you're here with me. Pull up a chair, make a cup of coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whichever works for you, and let's go right in. Today's episode, I've called it What This Year Taught Me. And honestly, this title hardly covers it. This year stretched me. If you're a woman like me, or even a man listening to this, you've lived a little, you've loved deeply, you've lost a few things along the way, and you're still trying to figure out what's next. This one is for you. Okay, let's start. I'm going to start with the first lesson, and I'm going to tell a bit of a story with every one of the lessons I'm going to try. I want this to feel like we're having a conversation, sitting together, swapping tea and truth, sharing our lessons and experiences this year. All right? Okay, let's go. Lesson one. You are allowed to outgrow people, places, and patterns. I remember standing in my kitchen one morning, the kettle was humming, and I had this half finished conversation in my head, and I was feeling quite almost like a physical tightness there in my chest, like something, the feeling of something that used to fit perfectly no longer did. This year taught me that outgrowing people, places, or pattern is not betrayal. Is not being mean or selfish, is alignment. It is God gently nudging you and sometimes forcefully towards who you are becoming. Not every person you started the race with will run the whole way with you. And that is okay. Some friendships will shift. Some jobs will stop nurturing you. Some routines will become heavy chains instead of helpful rhythms of steps for you. This year, I cried sometimes and I questioned myself sometimes. Did I do something wrong? What did I miss? What can I do differently? And then I read John 15:3 again and again, and it made me to understand pruning. Jesus said, I am the true grapevine and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch that doesn't produce fruit, and he prunes the branches that do so that they will produce even more. And he goes on to say that you have already been pruned and purified by the message I have given you. Think about it. Pruning is not punishment. It's painful. It's not punishment. It's preparation. Because when a tree is pruned, it gives it room to grow, to bloom, to become a better version of itself. So if you've ever felt that, or you've ever felt the pull to step away from something, from someone, from a place, from a pattern, honor it. Outgrowing is often God making space for the next season. This year stretched me. This year surprised me. This year broke me a little, healed me a little, and reminded me who I am in God. And maybe that's true for you too. Lesson number 2. Heartbreak doesn't mean you failed. It means you felt. You could write a book on different kinds of heartbreak. There's a romantic kind, sure. But that's not really what I'm talking about today, but it's all part of it. But there's also the heartbreak of doors closing, the heartbreak of dreams shifting, the heartbreak of friendships fraying and not gelling anymore, the heartbreak of health worries, grief, loss. This year, I learned something tender. And that thing I learned is that heartbreak is a proof. It proves that I showed up, that I loved, and that I even took on some risk. My story here is small, but honest, and I'm sure many could relate. I lost my mom last year, but this year I carried the grief into this year. Of course, grief is a process, and for this whole year, I grieved. I felt and wished there was something I could have done to keep her here with me. Grief sometimes made me feel like I failed her. But I know it's not true. I know I didn't fail her. Grief actually doesn't mean failure. It's not equal to failure. Somewhere between the tears, the highs, and the lows, I discovered that God uses heartbreak as a repositioning tool. God doesn't delight in my pain, but He allows my refining. If something or someone left this year, perhaps God closed that door to keep you from a larger hurt or to lead you to a better path. This is actually a very difficult thing to assimilate sometimes. You are not less because you hurt. You are human. And that humanity is a space where God meets you. Lesson number 3, joy. Joy is a daily practice. With everything happening in the world, especially this year, joy is a daily practice, not a destination. I used to keep a list in my head sometimes where I say, oh, if I could achieve this, I'll be joyful. If I could if this relationship works, I'll be joyful. If I pay all my debts, I'll be joyful. If I lose how many kg like I projected I'll lose before the end of the year, I'll be joyful. If I get the promotion or get my dream joy, wow, I'll be joyful. This year, I started to taste joy in tiny places, in the quiet early mornings, probably just waiting for the water to boil for me to make myself a warm cup of water with lemon and ginger, which I love to do first in the morning. Or if I'm just listening to music from Spotify, brings me joy. A message from a friend that said, I thought of you. Joy is less about big events and more about small, faithful decisions, choosing gratitude, choosing rest, choosing to notice. Some days is a posture where you choose to hum a cheerful song or where you choose to call a friend to pray, a few more than you prayed yesterday, just in little things. I remember walking into my office one day, choosing joy. I was choosing joy that day and I was not feeling 100 at all. I walked in singing and humming to the music in my ear. And my colleague asked me, how are you? And I said, awesome. And he was like, you're so happy. What's popping? I said, actually, I don't feel awesome, but I choose awesome. That choice has kept me afloat when storms came. Those power to choose joy is a wholesome power. Peace became my anchor. It steadied me during the highs and the lows of life. This year, if you're thoughtful or if you think deeply, you will know that you have learned to value the deep, quiet joy that doesn't have to shout to be true, just still like a still water. Joy. It's not a destination. Choose joy. Lesson 4. God's timing will humble you and bless you. This one made me kneel more than once. You pray, you ask, you wait, and then you start to doubt the timing. I remember holding a prayer list like a lifeline and wondering if the universe, if God was on airplane mode. But God's timing is a marvel. He's not slow, he's precise. The thing you're waiting for years may not arrive in your schedule. It will definitely arrive in his sovereignty. God will show up when your pride has been softened and your hands are open to receive. Sometimes this no from God is a steering wheel away from the rocks, from trouble. Sometimes He's not yet. It's a preparation season that you didn't know you needed. In that waiting, I've learned to surrender, not with bitterness, but with expectation. Trust the process. I had an episode that I did on trusting the process. Trust the process. It's part of the lessons I've learned this year. Trust the process. Sometimes, I know me, sometimes I'm in a hurry to God. When? But I think I've learned to just be patient with God's plan for my life. What if the hardest part of your year was preparing you for the most beautiful ones yet? That question saved me from despair more than once this year. The hardest part of my year is a preparation for the most beautiful ones that's coming. Lesson number 5. You are still becoming. Even if you are Methuselah, you're still evolving. So you're over 40, you're 50, 60, you're 35, you're still evolving. I had to relearn this. Becoming doesn't stop at a certain age. I meet women who say things like, I'm too old to start over. That's not true. That's not true. This year reminded me that we are on finished art. New dreams arrive, new callings stir. Your voice gets stronger, your boundaries get clearer, your joy becomes more real. I tried something small this year. As you know, Vibes with Jojolicious started as audio podcast, and I moved into video podcasting this year. Trust me, this step broke me. If you know me very well, I don't like what I'm doing is not, it doesn't look like me. I like being at the background to do what I want to do and all. But I felt that the Spirit of God was nudging me in that direction for a long time, and I kept pushing it aside. But I was like, okay, let's do this. God, let's do this. And I remembered how nervous I felt and brave I also felt just starting it. For every time I try to record any of my podcasts, I get nervous. But I know that it's not easy, but I'm getting there. That's what becoming looks like. Small, brave steps. Not dramatic leaps. No gra. Just small, brave steps. That's what becoming looks like. That's what evolving looks like. In your 40s can be the decade of flowering, not folding. Before we go on, have you subscribed to my channel? Please click on the subscribe button below and subscribe. And also leave a comment, like, so that Vibes with Jojolicious will be able to reach as many people we're called to as we can. If you don't subscribe, help me, please. And share it with your friends. I'll love that. Thank you very much. Let's get back to it. Lesson number 6. Boundaries are an act of love for myself and for others. When I was younger, saying no felt like failure. This year, I discovered that boundaries are a form of grace for me and for others. When you set a limit, you're not punishing anyone. You're protecting your ability to give well. I remember a season where I said yes to everything and felt empty. So, learning to say no gently, clearly, and with love gave me back pieces of me I thought were gone. It also taught others how to treat me. So boundaries are not unloving. It's not wickedness. You're not being mean. They are the soil where healthy relationships grow. 7. Take care of your spirit, soul, and body. This one is practical. Faith without tending is like a garden without water. This year, I rebalance how I care for my spirit, soul, and body. For my spirit, I prioritize quiet moments with God, not necessarily long hours, but consistent moments enjoying His presence and listening to Him. For my soul, I fed my mind with good books, got into healthy friendships, and honest conversations. For my body, I moved, not to punish, but to celebrate the gifts I had. I got back to exercise routines, fell off a few times, but got back to it, and also trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The most surprising part, small, consistent readings mattered more than dramatic changes. 10 minutes of prayer work, 10 minutes of prayer, even if you don't take a walk, 30 minutes work off your table, off your room, of your house, sitting down to journal your thoughts or have a prayer journal or where you just pour your heart and empty yourself. This is what I call resilience. It's all this you do is compounded into resilience. Is if you're tired, start small because small is powerful. Don't give up. Lesson number 8, forgiveness. Forgiveness frees you even when it's hard. I get it. Forgiveness sometimes for some people is not easy. Forgiveness was the salt that healed several wounds for me this year. Not because I forgot, but because I chose freedom over bitterness. There were people I had to forgive. Some were publicly, some were just in my pillow at night, and I screamed, I forgive you. Forgiveness doesn't mean you agree with what happened. No, it means you refuse to let the wounds define your future. When I forgave, I didn't immediately feel lighter, I must say, but over time, the tightness eased. I slept better and I prayed better. And I could love without a shadow hanging over my head. If you're carrying something heavy, I beg you, consider forgiveness. Consider forgiveness as an invitation not to erase the past of what happened to you, what they did to you, what they said to you, but to reclaim the present. Lesson 9, we're getting close because I have 10 lessons I'm sharing with you today. And before I go into lesson 9, if you could go to the comment section and leave the lessons you've picked this year. If any of my lessons resonate with you, let me know. If you have your own, share with me on the comment section because I want to learn. I want to learn from what you've learned so that we can all grow and bloom together. Community matters. The power of real friendship, real friendship, real friendship. This year taught me something I didn't even realize I'd been doing for years, carrying too much alone. And if you're anything like me, you know what that strong woman syndrome feels like. For so long, I believed strength meant being self-sufficient, handling everything privately, pushing through, managing emotions with a smile, being everyone's support system while rarely leaning on anyone else. But this year, God showed me the truth. There were moments I felt overwhelmed, exhausted, and honestly, just tired of being the one who always has it together. And every single time I felt this way, God sent me someone. A phone call that came right on time, maybe from my sisters or from my friends. Or a friend just saying, I've been praying for you. A hug that softened the tension in my chest. A message that simply said, you're on my heart. Are you okay? These little things, they were massive impacts for me. And it reminded me of something powerful. Community heals what isolation hides. Especially when you are a mature woman, everyone expects you to have it all together. But we need places where we can take off the mask and just be human. Spaces where we can be fully seen, truly heard, held in love. Places where we can be encouraged. We can be reminded that God hasn't forgotten us. Real friendships. Those honest, messy, sacred ones, they are lifelines. They don't just walk with you during celebration time. They sit beside you in your chaos. They remind you of who you are, and when life tries to make you forget, they are your reminder. And that's exactly why I created the Vibes Tribe. You're probably hearing it for the first time. Apart from this podcast, I want to build a community, a tribe of women who will come together to nurture and to grow together. Because I know what it feels like to crave sisterhood, to want conversations that go deeper, to desire a safe space where you can grow, heal, laugh, cry, and be covered in prayer without judgment. If you don't have that circle yet, or if you're looking for a community that truly, truly gets you, sis, come join me. I will leave the link in the comment section and also in the show notes. I desire that we build something beautiful, something faith-filled, something natural and transformative together. It only takes one step. Oh yes, one moment of vulnerability. Join the vibes and experience what real community feels like. You don't have to navigate this season alone. You're not alone in this world. So I'm waiting for you to join me. The link, like I said, is in the comment section. And finally, lesson number 10. Embracing change builds courage. Resilience is a skill. You can put it in your CV. This year brought changes I didn't ask for and changes I chose. Both taught me the same thing. Resilience is a skill and courage is practiced. There were small shifts, routines, roles, rhythms, and big ones as well. Each required me to name fear and then do the thing anyway. Courage didn't always roar. Often, courage is just a whisper. Try again tomorrow. You can learn to be soft and strong at the same time. You can grieve and still move forward. You can accept that the next chapter may look different than you imagined and still be excited. So 10 lessons from this year: outgrowing, heartbreak, joy as practice, God's timing, becoming, boundaries, spirit, soul, body care, forgiveness, community, and embracing change. If you're counting, yes, that's a lot, but not overwhelming. Think of them as small invitations to rest, to speak the truth, to forgive, to show up. Let me pray for you now. I have it in my heart to pray this prayer today. Father, for every woman listening or man, I thank you for the lessons this year. Thank you for the lessons this year brought, even the hard ones. I pray for healing where there is heartbreak, pain or loss, clarity where there is confusion, courage where there is fear, and joy where there's been heaviness. Remind her that she's not behind. She is right on time. Cover her heart, strengthen her steps, and let the year ahead be filled with divine alignment, unexpected blessings, and your perfect peace. Amen. If you love this episode, won't you share it with someone who might need it to hear it, who might need to hear it? Drop a comment. Tell me one lesson you've learned this year. I read every single message I get. If you would like to be part of a deeper conversation, join the Vibes Tribe. Link is in the show notes. And if you are enjoying the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. It really does help others to find us. Remember, your story is still unfolding and is unfolding beautifully. I love you. I'm rooting for you. See you next time. I'm Jojo Licious, and these are the vibes.